Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paranormal News. Tonight's article comes from nypost.com, the New York Post, and the headline is Amityville Horror Killer, Ronald DeFeo, dead in prison at 69. It was written by Tina Moore and Lisa Estachwick, and it was published March 15th, 2021. Amityville Horror Killer Ronald DeFeo Jr., who spread terror through Long Island and beyond by slaughtering his parents and 4 siblings in 1974, has died, according to state officials. DeFeo, whose murderous spree served as the inspiration behind the Amityville horror book and movie franchise, died Friday while serving a 25 years to life sentence at Sullivan Correctional Facility in Fallsburg, New York, according to the State Department of Corrections. He was 69. The convicted murderer was transferred to Albany Medical Center and pronounced dead at 6:35 p.m. An autopsy by the Albany County Medical Examiner's Office will determine an official cause of death. DeFeo, whose nickname was Butch, was convicted of killing his mother, father, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers inside their Amityville home on Ocean Avenue on November 13th, 1974. The then 23-year-old used a .35 caliber Marlin lever-action rifle to slaughter his family members, who were all in bed at the time. Dad, Ronald DeFeo Sr., 43, Mom, Louise DeFeo, 43, and siblings Dawn, 18, Allison, 13, Mark, 12, and John, 9. Both parents were shot twice, while the siblings were each shot once. All the victims were found face down in bed. At trial, his lawyers mounted an insanity defense, claiming DeFeo heard voices saying his family was plotting against him. He was convicted in 1975 of 6 counts of second-degree murder and received 6 sentences of 25 years to life. DeFeo was scheduled for a parole hearing in July, online DOC records show. In a jailhouse interview in 2006, DeFeo claimed he only killed his father, his mother, and his eldest sister, Dawn. The other siblings were murdered by Dawn before DeFeo killed her, he claimed. In 2017, the notorious 5-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom colonial home, where the bloodbath took place, sold for $605,000. The original address of the home when the murders took place was 112 Ocean Avenue, but it was eventually changed to 108 Ocean Avenue in order to discourage tourists. A year after the slaughter, George and Kathy Lutz purchased the home, but left 28 days later after reporting paranormal activity in the house, including strange sounds, voices, and green slime oozing from the walls, according to real estate site 6 SQFT, which I guess was square foot. The creepy event served as the inspiration for the 1977 book, The Amityville Horror, and 2 years later, the cult classic film, The Amityville Horror, starring James Brolin and Margaret Kidder. The stately 5,000 square foot abode underwent renovations after Carolyn and David D'Antonio purchased it in 2010 for $950,000. DeFeo's death was first reported by Newsday. And that is the end of this article. The reason that I brought you this article was because this is a very popular book and movie. And like a lot of books and movies that were based on true stories, you don't really know for sure whether any of this actually happened or not. Because when they say based on a true story or inspired by true events, those kind of things, basically what they're saying is that some portion of it was true, but you don't know how big a portion that is. You don't know if it's simply that, yes, this one person in the story existed and that's it, and the rest of it is BS, or whether it is a realistic, accurate accounting of events that actually transpired. I'm not going to get into, in this video, whether or not there was a demon in the house or any of that kind of stuff. We've covered the Amityville Horror on an episode of Staring into the Abyss. But the reason I brought this to you is to show you that, yes, these people actually existed. These murders actually took place, and this guy that did it is now dead. He died in prison. So that part of the story, 100% true. Now, it's interesting that they used an insanity defense to try to defend him in court, and nobody ever mentioned anything about paranormal events, demons, ghosts, anything. That was never mentioned in the court case. So that's kind of interesting to me. Or at least if it was mentioned, it was never talked about in this article. So let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this. Did you know that Amityville Horror actually happened? And if you did know it actually happened, do you know it as the movie, the Amityville Horror, like a case where there was a demon in the house that caused him to murder his family? Or do you just know it as a true crime kind of deal and don't believe that there was any kind of haunting or demon or anything like that? It'll be interesting to see, because you never know. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure. All I know is what I've read and what I've seen on the subject. But in all reality, unless you have actually went there and witnessed the events as they took place, or worked on the case for the police or something like that, where you had access to all of the evidence and all of the witness testimonies and all of the interviews and everything, then there's really no way to figure out exactly what happened there. Because the problem with this case and with other cases like it is, once you kind of blow this up into there's a demon in the house and it's this paranormal thing now, there becomes so much garbage that goes with it. Because unfortunately, the paranormal is not full of just researchers that are trying to get to the truth and trying to scientifically prove things. It's also filled with a bunch of hucksters and frauds and people that are trying to take advantage of other people's grief and all of that in order to make a buck. You have a lot of people that are trying to get famous doing it. They're trying to make money doing it. You can't always trust the motivations of those involved. Now, I'm not saying that motivations of the people involved in this particular case were bad. All I'm saying is, once you enter into the realm of the paranormal, then you got to really be careful, because for every one or two people that are actually trying to get to the truth and are honest and are doing the research and you can trust what they say and they know what they're talking about, for every one or two of those, there's hundreds of people that are absolutely full of crap, that have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They're out there actually working cases and doing investigations, though. And they're putting people in danger and they're harming people. That's horrible. And then you have even worse than that. You have these frauds that pretend that they can talk to the dead, and they pretend they're psychics. And they are charging people who have lost their loved ones extraordinary sums of money to communicate with their loved ones, which is absolutely horrible. I'm not saying that there are no psychics, because I believe that there are. I'm not saying that every single person who is able to let you talk to a relative or whatever like that is full of crap. What I'm saying is there are people out there that take advantage of the grieving people, and they charge them a lot of money, and they're just doing it for profit, and it's sickening and it's terrible. So my main point of this was, you don't know for sure unless you've looked at all the different evidence. So that's why it's up to speculation. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do I. Bye-bye.